Let's start our archetype review with the oldest of them all, the oldest ninja, one of the first 5 effect monsters, Armed Ninja. He's able to target a spell card on the field as a flip effect and destroys the target, and it's a mandatory effect, so if the opponent has no spell and only you have a spell, you have to destroy your own spell. Back in the day he was used pretty much exclusively to destroy Threads of Revealing Light, and nowadays you really shouldn't play him. But every archetype has its start, and he was the first of many ninjas. The Crimson Ninja is almost the same, but came almost 4 years later and is able to target a trap card on the field and destroy it. Also mandatory, also a flip effect, and also he can only destroy trap cards, and he's way too slow nowadays. Even back in the day he wasn't that good, so it's better to avoid him. The next ninja is a bit more interesting. You always see on the right lower side like a power score from 3 to 6, and he has a 3 from 6, not like a 1 from 6 like the first 2 cards. And he wasn't released in the same set as Crimson Ninja. The release date is on the left side is always the OCG release date. Strike Ninja is way more interesting because he has a quick effect that lets him banish 2 dark monsters from your graveyard to banish him face up until the end phase. And that made him pretty much indestructible back in the day, except for cards like Lava Golem or some other very special offenders. But he was the head of a whole strategy, the Strike Ninja Chaos mash-up strategy. So nowadays he's not that good anymore and the effect costs too much resources. But back in the day this card was quite good. So for some special ninja builds you might consider him even nowadays. And the next card is the very first support card for the ninja archetype, making them officially an archetype by that point, the Fuma Shuriken. It is equipped to a ninja monster, so it gains 700 ATK, and when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you burn your opponent for 700 damage. And this card was not particularly strong in ninja strategies, but it had a very niche ability used in Reversal Quiz OTKs instead of Black Pendant, since it has to be sent from the field to the graveyard, which will happen through Reversal Quiz if you pay the cost to activate that card. And the idea was to switch your life points with the life points from your opponent, so that your opponent has like 100 life points left. Then the Fuma Shuriken triggers after the Reversal Quiz in a new chain, and the opponent loses the duel. So that's why I give this card a 2 from 6 for a nice semi-FD card back in the day. And just a little later in the same year we got more ninja support with Lady Ninja Jai, and she has a quite good effect for the time. You can discard a wind monster to return all spell and trap cards from the opponent to the owner's hand. That was good back in the day. Nowadays it's giving the opponent more advantage than anything, so better avoid her nowadays, but she was nice. I really like to use her in the structure deck. Lord of the Storm, released in the GX era. She was nice, I really liked her. Now the next card is more interesting. It is the first ninjutsu art that has been released, one of many that would come in the future. And this card can be activated by tributing one face-up ninja monster. And then you can special summon a beast, winged beast or insect monster from your hand or deck, whose level is less than or equal to the level you tributed, plus 3. So if you tribute a level 4 monster, you can summon level 7 or lower. That made for some great combos even back in the day to summon some big chunky monsters like Big Koala or something, and really surprise the opponent. It really set a stone, an important stone in the ninja strategy that would form in the future. The DM era didn't have so much strategy, but looking at Zexal and later, this card and other cards really combined to form a great strategy. So that's why it's a 4 from 6. It's actually quite good and you can still play it nowadays in modern ninja decks because it's just a good card. So feel free to run it depending on which ninja strategy you play. Now, Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke was the first Grandmaster in the Ninja Archetype, and he was good back in the day. 1800 on a light monster, very important for the chaos strategies, and he can destroy defense position monster if they are face up, which was okay. But nowadays you shouldn't run him anymore, but he gets a 2 from 6 for being useful in the past and in chaos decks. Let's go to the last card that has been released in the DM era for ninjas, the Ninjutsu Art of Decoy. Yes, a second ninjutsu art in the DM era. You can target one face-up ninja monster and it cannot be destroyed by battle. It was nice back in the day. Nowadays it is not good anymore. The ninja strategies really changed and this card is not so useful anymore. You shouldn't run it, but if you have the space and if you are crazy, feel free to play a one-off. And next up we have White Ninja, very similar to Armed Ninja or Crimson Ninja. He has a mandatory flip effect to target a defense position monster on the field and destroy it. Again, he can also, or sometimes has to, target your own defense position monsters. So he is not that great and better to be avoided. Goi Goi the Gallant Ninja is a bit interesting from his effect, so he has to inflict battle damage to the opponent and then he must discard 2 random cards, but he has to have at least 5 cards in the hand for this effect to activate. So this effect is kinda the biggest pipe dream ever. I never saw a person resolving this effect and I think you should better avoid him, but there is something coming later specifically for him, which is a bit interesting, but let's move on for now. And the 5DS era starts with an interesting run. The Karakuri Ninja MDL 339 Zasang. Like every Karakuri monster, he must attack if able, and if he is attacked in attack position, then he will be changed to defense position. And when he is flipped face up, you can select one face up monster on the field and send it to the graveyard. So it's a very good non-destruction removal that he has. And in addition, during the turn he was flipped face up, he can attack the opponent directly. So it's pretty interesting in a more modern ninja strategy actually. I would consider him if I were you, but I personally don't play him in the deck list we will see at the end, but he's good. And next up we have the Karakuri Ninja MDL 919 Quick. He is less useful for a ninja strategy, but very good for a actual Karakuri strategy. He also must attack if able, and when he selects an attack target, he will change its battle position, so it's a bit different than Zasang, so Quick always changes his battle position when he is attacked. And when he destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends to the graveyard, select one level 4 or lower Karakuri monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face-up defense position. So he could potentially revive a Zasang, for example, but he's better off in a Karakuri strategy than in a ninja strategy, in my opinion. And the final ninja in the 5DS era, yes, it's all Karakuri ninjas, it's the Karakuri Ninja MDL 7749 Nanashik. He's a tribute monster with 2200 ATK, so he's the strongest main deck Karakuri monster, that's a nice little fact. And he must also attack if able, and when he's selected as an attack target, he also changes its battle position, so always, unlike Zasang, who just gets changed to defense position. Important difference. And when he's normal summoned, you can draw a number of cards equal to the number of face-up defense position Karakuri monsters you control. So this is pretty much only useful in Karakuri strategies, but with the right setup you might be able to draw 1 or 2 cards in a ninja strategy too, but I feel like it's more of a pipe dream. Now it's getting more interesting. In the Zexal era we got as the first ninja, the Senior Silver Ninja, who only got 1 print to this day. So, as a common, but still only 1 printing. When he's flipped face up, you can special summon any number of ninja monsters except himself from your hand and or graveyard in face down defense position. And there can only be 1 Senior Silver Ninja on the field. He is super strong, considering what ninjas do nowadays in the modern strategy with all the flipping up and flipping down and face down shenanigans. He is so strong and is sure to catch a lot of attention from the opponent when he sees, oh no, he's about to summon 4 monsters, I have to stop this card. So just a very strong card that's easy to cheat out from the main deck by many ninjutsu cards. I would definitely play him at 1 copy in every modern ninja strategy. And it's important to say that he really set the base stone for the modern ninja strategy too. He was the first ninja to use the face down defense position in any kind of effect, so he's the origin from this strategy. Next up comes maybe the biggest release for the ninjas. It was the set Order of Chaos, which released so many new ninja cards to the strategy and really made them an archetype at that point. And we start with a pretty lackluster one, the Flame Armor Ninja. When he is summoned in any way, you can target a ninja monster and increase its level by 1. Okay, the Sword Wars, we have XYZ monsters and it's easier to summon the big rank 5 boss monster with it, but really that's not enough. Just this small little effect. For me, even Armed Ninja is better. And next up we have the Aqua Armor Ninja, and when your opponent monster declares a direct attack, if you have another ninja monster in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target the attacking monster and negate that attack. It is a very weak Scrap Iron Scarecrow from the graveyard, so more like a Necro Gardener, but also not good. But I gave him 2 from 6 points because you can negate an attack. It's better than increasing a level of 1 monster by 1. So yeah, but it's better to avoid him too. Up next we have the Air Armor Ninja. When he is summoned, you can target a ninja monster and reduce its level by 1. Even worse than the Flame Armor Ninja. No reason to use this card in any way. You don't even have a rank 3 XYZ for the ninja archetype. And you could reduce a level 5 monster to level 4, but even then, it's so niche and useless. Please don't run him. And up next, the Earth Armor Ninja. And he has the effect of Cyber Dragon. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special him from your hand. But his attack is weaker than from Cyber Dragon. So why should you run him and not Cyber Dragon? Because he has ninja in its name, of course, so you can use him with all the ninja support cards. And he's level 5, which makes it easier to summon their XYZ rank 5 monster. So he's not half bad, so 3 from 6 for being able to be special summoned, and that's about all he can do. And next up we have Masked Ninja Ebisu. Earlier I mentioned that Goi Goi the Gallant Ninja would get a support card, and here it is. So if you control another face-up ninja monster, then you can return spell and traps from the opponent up to the number of ninja monsters you control to his hand. And every face-up Goi Goi the Gallant Ninja can attack your opponent directly this turn. So he's good if you actually run Goi Goi the Gallant Ninja. But Goi Goi the Gallant Ninja is not good. So it's better to avoid him altogether. And Ninja Lady Jai has a very similar effect that's easier to set up. But In a very dedicated deck you might run him together with Goey and Lady Ninja Jai in a wind kind of ninja strategy. But that's not so good, so I would avoid him. Who I would consider on the other hand is Upstart Golden Ninja. Once per turn you can send one trap from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one level 4 or lower ninja monster from your deck in face up or face down defense position. Again, he is one of the cards who supports the face down defense position, even back in the Zexal era. And sending a trap from your hand to the graveyard is easier than you might think, because the ninjutsu arts are mostly trap cards. So it's a very useful card to get out a specific monster you want. I would run him at least at 1 copy, and or maybe even 3. He's pretty good. But beware, since discarding the trap card is a cost, so if the opponent has a classic Ash Blossom or Infinite Impermanence, you go into a great minus and get no value with a low attack beta left on board, so it's a bit risky too. Attention! Essential card, 6 from 6 points, very strong, Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. He is the one card that really brings together the whole modern ninja archetype with a very amazing effect. When he's normal summoned, you can add a ninjutsu art card from your deck to your hand, and when he's flipped or special summoned, you can add a ninja monster from your deck to your hand, except himself. Both effects are not once per turn, so if you special summon multiple copies of him, you get to search multiple ninja monsters. The only little downside is, both effects are when you can. So if you summon him mid-chain, he will miss timing and you cannot activate the effect. But still, even his stats with 1880k are good, and his effect is strong and not a once per turn, and easy to loop multiple times per turn, so he's a safe 3-off in every ninja strategy, no matter what kind of ninja strategy you are planning to build. And just a fun fact on top, do you see who's in the background? It's Senior Silver Ninja. And here comes the first boss monster from back in the day, Blade Armor Ninja, who needs 2 level 4 warrior type monsters to be XYZ summoned. And once per turn you can detach a XYZ material from him and then target any ninja monster, including himself, and then that ninja monster can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. And it's a second attack not only on monsters, but just a second attack in addition. So it means if you can attack directly by more modern support cards, for example, you can deal a lot of damage and achieve a very easy OTK. So even nowadays you should at least always play 1 copy of Blade Armor Ninja in your deck. And here comes the big boy, number 12, Crimson Shadow Armor Ninja. He needs 2 level 5 monsters, and once per turn during either player's turn you can detach the XYZ material from him, and then this turn all face-up ninja monsters can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. He is a bit outdated nowadays, but still, with a very recent support card that we come to later, he's pretty easy to make, and still it's a quick effect to protect against stuff like Lightning Storm or Raigekis nowadays, so it's still okay, but not broken by any means, so feel free to run him at 1 copy. And we are still not finished with the Order of Chaos support. Here comes the Spell and Trap support, with the first one being Armor Ninjutsu Art of Alchemy. If you control a ninjutsu art card, destroy as many other ninjutsu arts as you control as possible, and then draw 2 cards. Without a once per turn, a draw 2 effect. That's good! And with more modern support, easy to recycle and to use multiple times per turn. So at least run 1 copy. 3 might be too much, because your ninjutsu arts are also very important, and destroying all of them, especially in the late game, is a bit risky. So this card is very useful in the early game and easy to search out. So maybe only 1 copy is actually enough, but feel free to run 3 too, since it says draw 2 without a once per turn, and that's always kinda broken. And next up we have a very important pillar of an older ninja strategy, the ninjutsu art of super transformation. It allows you to target a ninja monster that you control, and any face-up monster your opponent controls, send them to the graveyard, and then special summon a dragon, dinosaur or sea serpent monster from your deck whose level is less than or equal to the combined original levels of the sent monsters. And when this card leaves the field, banish that monster. This card will enable, just a little later, spamming of many stronger dragon forms of certain ninja monsters. And this kind of strategy for a long time was the best thing ninjas could do. Summon big boys onto the field with strong effects and control the game like that. But the more modern support focuses on the face down defense position again, so this card is kinda outdated in that kind of regard. But still, it's for me still a 5 from 6 because it's a very strong card, especially if you play the, let's say, older ninja strategy. So feel free to run 0 copies or 3 copies depending on which ninja deck you play. That's a ninja, it's very versatile. And next up we have the Amo Ninjutsu Art of Freezing. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, if you control a ninja monster, you can flip this card face up, negate the attack, and the battle phase. While this card is face up on the field and you control a ninja monster, your opponent monsters cannot change their battle position. This card is not so good, especially if you consider the modern strategy which actually wants to change the battle position of opponent's monsters sometimes, and this card prevents it. And you can only activate it if the opponent declares an attack. So it's too much condition on one card to really justify running it, so better avoid it. Much better, I feel like, is the next one, Amo Ninjutsu Art of Rust Mist. When an opponent's monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, if you control a ninja monster, halve the current ATK of that special summoned monster or monsters. This card is kinda good, because every monster the opponent will special summon will have halved ATK, so 3000 becomes 1500, and even if he summons a big beater with enhanced ATK on summon, that current ATK will be halved. And even if on resolution you don't have a ninja monster on your field anymore, by ruling of that card you will still halve the ATK of that summoned monster. So this card is kinda good and you should at least run 1 copy in every ninja strategy. And the added bonus on top, even if this card leaves the field, the halved ATK still remains. The next card we got in Order of Chaos too, but the OCG release was later, also not in the same set, so that's why it's coming now. The Right Dragon Ninja. He cannot be special summoned except with a ninjutsu art card effect. Spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Not by opponents, not by your card effects. And that's a good thing. He can protect your ninjutsu arts from their downside. So when they leave the field, the monster would be destroyed or banished or that kind of downsides. And he's a dragon by typing, so he can be summoned with the ninjutsu art of super transformation. So if you decide to run the more old Unga Bunga beatdown ninja strategy, then you should run him for sure. In a modern ninja strategy, he has no space anymore, because he's a pretty big brick on hand for his summoning condition. And one trivia, he is based on the Right Ninja, so he's the true form of the Right Ninja. And the next Zexal card, this era really is endless with ninja cards. The Ninjutsu Art of Duplication, another really strong card. You tribute a ninja monster and special summon any number of ninja monsters from your deck in face up attack position or face down defense position with combined levels less than or equal to the level of the tributed monster. So if you tribute a level 4 monster, you can summon 4 level 1 monsters from your deck or 1 level 3 and 1 level 1 monster. And when this card leaves the field, destroy those monsters. This card is, I wouldn't say broken, but it's pretty strong, since you can, if you for example have a level 8 ninja on your field, you can summon 2 Grandmaster Hanzo, so 32 ninja monsters for pretty much free. So this card should be run at 2 or 3 copies in every ninja strategy. It's a very good and strong card. Next up is the Blue Dragon Ninja. He's the true form of the Armed Ninja, the very first ninja that was released. And once per turn, during either player's turn, you can discard 1 ninja monster and 1 ninjutsu art card to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls This turn, that monster's effects are negated, also that monster cannot attack. So it's a very strong, quick effect on this card, but with a very high cost of discarding 2 different cards, one ninja, one ninjutsu card art. So most of the time it's not worth the effort, and just play Infinite Impermanence or something. So he's okay, but you could also avoid him. A bit better in my opinion is the following Red Dragon Ninja, the true form of the Crimson Ninja. When he is summoned, you can banish one ninja or ninjutsu art card from your graveyard, then target one set card your opponent controls, reveal that set card, then return it to either the top or the bottom of the deck. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this effect's activation, and this is a hard once per turn. So in total, his cost is less, you only have to banish one ninja or a ninjutsu art card and it's from your graveyard, and he cannot activate the targeted set card in response, and you can stack the opponent's deck. If it's a useless card because you reveal it first, you can put it on top of the deck, and if you think it's very useful, you can put it on the bottom of the deck. This card is very versatile, very strong, and actually very playable, even nowadays. And we finally reached the last card of the Zexal era, the ninjutsu art of Shadow Sealing. Tribute one ninja monster to target one monster your opponent controls, banish that target. While that card is banished, its monster zone cannot be used. And when this face-up card leaves the field, return the banished card by this effect to the same monster zone in the same battle position. This card is okay, but if you read it a bit more closer, it's a bit useful if you banish an extra monster from the extra monster zone to block the extra monster zone, since it doesn't mention main monster zone. If you use it like that against a Link spam deck, for example, this card can be very strong. So you could run one copy, but I myself like to avoid this card, since there are better cards to choose from. And we start off the Arc V era with the Twilight Ninja Shingetsu. He gives your ninja monsters attack and targeting protection basically, except for himself. Meaning if you have 2 copies of him face up, you have like an attack and targeting lockdown. And if he's destroyed by any means, you can add a ninja from your deck to your hand. He's part of a small new Twilight Ninja archetype and quite useful. But for the modern strategy, you shouldn't use him, since his effect only applies for face-up ninja monsters, and nowadays you will have a lot of face-down ninja monsters. Up next we have the Twilight Ninja Nichirin the Chunin, which is a tribute monster who can, during either player's turn, discard a ninja monster to activate one of these effects. This turn, ninja monsters and ninjutsu art cards cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, or one ninja monster you control gains 1000 attack until the end of this turn. He is pretty useful with his effects, pretty good and strong effects, easy to cheat out with ninjutsu arts, and the same applies to him like to the last ninja. He applies more to face-up ninjas with his effects, so he's not so useful for the modern strategy. Way more useful is the next one, the Twilight Ninja Getsuga the Shogun. You can tribute summon him by tributing one ninja monster, and if this card is in attack position, you can target 2 ninja monsters in your graveyard, change the Shogun to defense position, and special summon both of the ninja monsters from the graveyard. It's a hard once per turn. This card is pretty good, even for the modern ninja strategies. I myself prefer the Senior Silver Ninja, but this is really up to preference. Both are equally as strong. And up next we have the Black Dragon Ninja, the true form of the Strike Ninja. He cannot be special summoned except with the effect of the ninja monster or ninjutsu art card. And once per turn during either player's turn, you can send one ninja monster and one ninjutsu art card from your hand and or face-up field to the graveyard, and then target one monster on the field from you or from your opponent and banish it. And if this face-up card leaves the field, special summon as many monsters banished by this effect as possible to the owner's fields. So in theory you can banish the opponent's monsters, and if he leaves the field, the opponent's monsters come back. But you could also banish your own Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo, for example, as many copies as possible, and then as soon as the Black Dragon Ninja leaves the field, Hanzo comes back, and he doesn't miss timing and can use his search effect. So the Black Dragon Ninja is quite versatile and good, but again, for the more modern ninja strategies, I would avoid him, because he's not so good at the end of the day. Yeah, up next we have some strange inclusions. The Super Heavy Samurai Ninja Sarutobi. He doesn't really count as a ninja, even if ninja's in his name. The Ninja Archetype itself cannot summon him. Same applies to the Super Heavy Samurai Stealth Ninja. He's also not useful for the Ninja Archetype. So let's skip that. And strangely enough, we start off the Reigns era with Pendulum monsters, the Twilight Ninja Kagen, which is scale 10. And you cannot pendulum summon monsters except ninja monsters, and this effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, when a ninja monster declares attack, you can have it gain 1000 ATK. And as a monster effect, you can tribute this card and target one ninja monster you control, and it gains 800 attack. So he helps your ninjas to get over bigger monsters, which is pretty useless in the more modern ninja strategies, since then your goal is to attack directly. So up to preference, depending which style of ninja deck you play. And just fittingly, they have a scale 1 Twilight Ninja Jogen, which has both abilities have to do with piercing damage. So that effect is not so useful compared to the first effect. So if you run a pendulum oriented ninja strategy, of course you play both of them at 3, but in every other case it's better to avoid them. Up next we have the Ninjutsu Art Notebook, and once per turn you can send one ninja monster from your hand to the graveyard. Set one Ninjutsu Art spell or trap directly from your deck, except the notebook. This is a soft once per turn, that means if you return this card to the hand, you can use this effect multiple times per turn. And you set the card directly from deck, so a Ash Blossom cannot negate this effect, for example. So in total, this card is very strong and should be played at 3 at all times, then it opened up all your ninjutsu arts. And next up we have the Yellow Ninja. He's a pretty chunky boy for level 4 with 1900 ATK and 1800 def. And if he's normal summoned or flipped face up, you can special summon one level 4 lower ninja monster from your hand in attack position or face down defense position. And you cannot special from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except ninja monster, and this is a hard once per turn. But still, it is a very good effect. So feel free to run 1 or 2 copies of him in your modern ninja strategy. And here comes the true form of the Yellow Ninja, the Yellow Dragon Ninja. With 3000 ATK, he's the strongest ninja to this day, and he cannot be special summoned except with the effect of a ninja monster or ninjutsu art card. And once per turn is a quick effect. You can send one ninja monster and one ninjutsu art card from your hand and or face up field to the graveyard, and then target up to 2 spell and traps on the field, destroy them. So again, he can destroy the opponents or your own spell and trap cards, which is sometimes in rare occasions useful with a more new support card. And he's very chunky with 3000, but just like Black Dragon Ninja, they both have the same summoning condition and the same cost. It's a high cost for a kinda low effect at the end of the day, but he's strong in attack position, so if you run a Unga Bunga Beatdown Ninja strategy, then feel free to run him at 1 or 2 copies, and otherwise, please avoid him. So let's take a look at the first Link monster and the third Grandmaster of the Ninja Archetype, the Ninja Grandmaster Saizo. He needs any 2 ninja monsters to be summoned, and during your main phase you can set one ninjutsu art spell trap directly from your deck. Again, it ignores cards like Ash Blossom, and you can only use this effect of Ninja Grandmaster Saizo once per turn. And while this card points to a monster, this card cannot be targeted for an attack. Also, it cannot be targeted for card effects, so that means it can also not be targeted for cards like Infinite Impermanence. So in total, his search, his setting directly from the deck, is a very safe effect. He can ignore cards like Ash Blossom and Infinite Impermanence, very popular cards, and safely get out every ninjutsu art you please. so he's good. Always run him in your ninja strategy at least 1 or 2 times. Up next we have the first field spell of the ninja archetype, the Hidden Village of Ninjutsu Arts. If a ninja monster is summoned to your field, you can target one ninja monster or ninjutsu art card in your graveyard and add it to your hand, but you cannot activate that card or the effect of the cards with the same name for the rest of the turn. But if it's a monster, you can still normal summon it, which is very important for the later, more modern support cards for certain quick effects. And this recycling effect can be used during either player's turn. So if you summon a monster in the opponent's turn, you can recycle one of your cards during your opponent's turn too. And in addition, if a ninja monster or a ninjutsu art card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish one ninja monster from your graveyard instead. This card is very good for the more modern ninja cards and a great card all around, with the only downside being that both effects are hard ones per turns. So feel free to play 1 or 2 copies of this card in any kind of ninja deck. And next up we have the ninjutsu art of Mirage Transformation. Tribute one ninja monster, then target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field. It is also treated as a ninja monster while this card is face up on the field. And when this card leaves the field, send that monster to the graveyard, and this is the hard ones per turn. So this card is useful to steal the strongest monster from your opponent from the graveyard, for example, and surprise the opponent with that. And even you change the monster to a ninja monster, so you could also use it for a link play to make Ninja Grandmaster Saizo, for example. So it's a useful card all around, and you should play 1 copy of it at least. Let's start off the 7th era with Penguin Ninja, a ninja which doesn't belong to the ninja archetype but to the penguin archetype. And also the next card is the Nazuki the Valence Ninja, which belongs to the Valence archetype and also has nothing to do with ninja. But the next card is the ninja for sure, the number 2 Ninja Shadow Mosquito. This card has to be summoned with 2 or more level 2 monsters, and it cannot be destroyed with battle, and you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. Every monster your opponent controls must attack if able, and if an attack is declared from you or your opponent, you can either detach a material from this card to place a hallucination counter on one face-up monster your opponent controls, non-targeting by the way. The effects of monsters with the hallucination counter are negated on top, or the second effect, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of one monster with a hallucination counter. So in total, this card is pretty tricky and also very mean, because the opponent is forced to attack you if he has monsters in attack position and might OTK himself by the effect of this card. Quite useful in niche situations, and you should always play it in your ninja strategy to surprise the opponent. That's what ninjas do. And next up we have Ninjutsu Art of Mosquito Marching, a specific support card for Ninja Shadow Mosquito. So the first effect is you can special summon up to 2 level 4 lower insect monsters from your hand, and you can banish this card from a graveyard and target face-up monsters from the opponent up to the monster of insect monsters you control and place a hallucination counter on each of those monsters, and the effects of them are negated then. This card is okay, but I feel like that you really don't need it. The Shadow Mosquito alone can achieve its OTK pretty easily, even without the spell card. So feel free to run it if you want, but I would avoid it. And with that we finally reach the modern ninja strategy I've been talking about all video long already, and we start with an essential card, Tobari the Sky Ninja. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects the turn it was special summoned or flipped face up, and each of his effects can only be used once per turn. You can send him from the hand to the graveyard to special summon a ninja from your hand in face up or face down defense position, and during your opponent's main or battle phase, as a quick effect, you can fusion summon a ninja fusion monster from your extra deck by using monsters from your hand or field as a material. Very important, when you perform a fusion summon, you can also use face down monsters as fusion material and reveal to the opponent that it is indeed a ninja monster to be able to perform the fusion summon. So this card is very, very important. We will see later the fusion boss monsters, which are essential to this new ninja strategy. So always play him at 3 and no less. He is very, very good. And next up we have Mitsu the Insect Ninja. Very useful again. She can special summon herself very easily and has a monster effect negation written on it as well. And she's level 2 to make easier Shadow Mosquito lines, so there's no reason to play her any less than 3 copies. And next up comes Baku the Beast Ninja, also a very nice card. If he's added to your hand except by drawing, you can special summon him. And if he's special summoned or flip face up, you can target a ninja or ninjutsu art card from your field or from your graveyard and add it to your hand. He is pretty versatile, especially if combined with, for example, Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. So it's very nice to have him at least 2 times in your deck, or even 1 time. It's really up to preference. And next up comes Kariro the Cannon Ninja. And I really like her, because if she's normal summon, special summon or flip face up, you can special summon a ninja monster from your hand or graveyard in face down defense position, except herself. And as long as she's in the graveyard and your opponent activates an effect that targets 1 ninja card, you can return that ninja card to the hand and special summon her back from the graveyard, also triggering her revival effect once again. So she's pretty useful and I really like her. And next up comes the boss monster for the ninja archetype, Maizen the Battle Ninja. He can be summoned with any 2 ninja monsters by Contact Fusion or by Tobari, and he can allow every of your ninja monsters to attack directly. And as long as you control a face-down defense position monster, he cannot be targeted for an attack. Also, if your opponent activates any kind of card or effect, you can special any ninja from your deck in face up or face down defense position. So he's so versatile and easy to build and strong and makes so easy OTK lines that you should always play him at 3 in the modern ninja strategy. And we follow up with the next essential card, the Ninjutsu Art Notebook of Mystery. If your opponent controls a card, you can set up to 1 ninja monster and up to 1 ninjutsu art spell trap except itself. These cards come from deck and or graveyard, but only 1 can come from each. Written a bit difficult, but basically you can set 2 cards, 1 from graveyard, 1 from the deck. And if this card is face down card is sent to the graveyard from the field, you have a Book of Moon as an effect. Also very nice. So this card is a safe 3-off for every modern ninja strategy. And the next card is also very nice, the ninjutsu art tool Iron Digger. It gives 500 attack to the equipped monster and you can equip it to any monster on the field, and it is also treated as a ninja monster. And then each of the other following effects is a once per turn. So you can banish a ninja monster from a graveyard to target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Again, any card on the field. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished ninja monsters, add it to your hand, or special summon it in face down defense position. Just nice effects all around and very versatile in its usage, so very nice to play at least 1 or 2 copies of it in your ninja strategy. And next up comes one of the payoffs for playing the Ninjutsu Art Tool Dagger, the Ninjutsu Art of Dancing Leaves. You activate this card by targeting 1 ninja monster or 1 face-down defense position monster on the field, meaning if you have a face-down defense position from the opponent or a ninja monster by Ninjutsu Art Tool Iron Digger for example, you contribute that monster too. And if you do that, you special summon any ninja monster from your deck. And when this card leaves the field, send that monster to the graveyard. And you can also target 1 ninjutsu art continuous spell or trap in your spell and trap zone and return it to the hand, but you can only use 1 effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. This card is very, very nice and very versatile again, and gaining you a lot of advantage. So it's a very good idea to run this card at 3 copies, and even so I feel like it doesn't exist according to Rise as Lion recently, or Rise as Leon. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Green Ninja, Best Ninja, right? That's kinda true. So on top of him being able to be special summoned, he's a very nice effect when he's sent from the hand or field to the graveyard. Then he's basically a Book of Taiyu or Book of Moon for any monster on the field. And that's really the important part of his effect, which makes him very versatile. And again, he's level 2, making the Shadow Mosquito play a little bit easier to pull off. So it's very nice to have him in your deck. And here comes Yugioh the Rated Ninja, another essential card, I feel like. If he's normal summoned, special summoned or flip face up, you can target up to 2 face up monsters on the field and change them to the face down defense position. And the opponent's monster you change down by this effect cannot change their battle position while they are on the field. So even if Yugioh leaves the field, they still cannot change their battle position. And if another monster on the field is flip face up, you can target one face up card on the field and destroy it. And that together with his strong stats and his level 8, which is very useful for the ninjutsu art of duplication, for example, makes him a very, very essential 1 of 2 of depending on how aggressive you want to be. He's just very, very nice. And next up comes the very recently released Yugioh the Armored Ninja, the second fusion boss monster for the ninja archetype, with the same summoning condition like Maizen, the battle ninja. And if he is special summoned or flip face up, you can banish one other ninja or ninjutsu card from anywhere to target one card on the field and banish it. That's just a very nice quick effect disruption if combined with Tobari the Sky Ninja. So it's very nice to have him in your deck for any kind of situation. And finally we come to the last card, a second field spell for the archetype, a world shrouded in darkness, which is kinda wrong since it's a translation issue. The real name is Tenshi Kaimei, just like Yugioh is a gravity ninja, not the rated ninja. But anyway, this card says when your ninja monster inflicts battle damage, you can target one card they control and destroy it without a once per turn. And if this face-up card in its owner's field zone leaves the field by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard or banished, you can target any number of ninja monsters with different names in your graveyard and special summon them in face-down defense position. Yeah, any of these effects is missing a once per turn, which is very nice. But in general, the ninjutsu village is a better field spell. But still, since it's very easy to search out, it's a nice one-off to include in some spicy deck list. Now let's take a look at an example deck list, what I thought about, a very pure approach to the modern ninja strategy. You can see the monster lineup, which is consisted of every essential ninja for the flip down strategy. And looking at the spell and trap lineup, we see every possible ninjutsu art that is good and nice to play in different variations. And the extra deck lineup consisting of every good ninja extra deck monster plus a little bit of extra spice, which can be easily replaced by Zeus or Underworld Goddess, of course, too. Finally, let's take a look at the deck evaluation of my example pure deck list, which has a very strong OTK potential, thanks to Maizen the Battle Ninja pretty much alone. The defensive tools are also strong thanks to the flipping down of many monsters. And the control options in the same spirit also very strong, since cards like Yugioh can very much mess up the opponent's strategy. But the removal options in general are a bit limited since it's very much targeting only, except for Shadow Mosquito. The recovery recycling is amazing. You can pretty much recycle and recover everything you want whenever you want. And the card advantage you generate with every card is pretty amazing. Since the overall rating for this deck is a 6 from 6. You actually saw it just recently in a YCS, so kinda shows how much potential is hidden inside this ninja strategy. Feel free to give it a try. That's all from me for today. This video is already long enough, so I hope you liked this video, and in the future I will do similar stuff like this for other archetypes I like or other things I feel like talking about. So, see you next time and bye bye.